So for the first couple of weeks for this quarter, Catherine, worked mostly on the paper that we wanted to submit for WIST. So this is the paper that we ended up with. And then while I was working on this, Hyung-soon got up to speed with like iOS and then hacking into the experience kit. And then Sprint 2 was when we started working together on new things. Oh, and Hyung-soon wrote like a lot of paper feedback.
So that was at the start of the quarter.
Yeah.
So as Catherine said, Sprint 2 was basically our first sprint as a team. One of the first things we did was we decided to put up a formal schedule of what we actually wanted to do. So week 7, for example, we decided that we actually needed a tech up for the improved interactions, but also what we would be deeming would be required for scaffolding as well. So the scaffolding, for example, we originally were thinking about perhaps just trying to see if we could increase data validation by results, but we also thought that we might be able to extend that to also, for example, finding variations in data or perhaps few details. For example, if the user had verified a couple of times that a tree did exist in a certain location, then afterwards we could have the user see if there might be different colored leaves, for example, on one tree, or maybe yellow leaves on another. Maybe if they locate a crop, if they see a leaf of some sort, they can identify whether the leaf is there or not. So afterwards, we also did some brainstorming on how we might increase the enjoyability and perhaps the clarity of our original interactions up until the point of the paper. So one of the ideas that we were having was that perhaps we could introduce an aspect of narrative of some sort, especially into Zen Walk, considering the fact that it seemed that one of Zombie Run's strong points was that it had a narrative that had the users actually very immersed inside the experience, which made them more open to the interactions and actually doing the interactions correctly so that they could actually better continue on with the experience. So this is some parts of the brainstorming doc that we're having to possibly add some narrative elements into the symbol. This wasn't so. We decided not to go too deep into this, considering that we might be changing the original experience of meditative walks too much, to the extent that it might not align with the original experience anymore, which, in terms of our original research question, how can we increase the enjoyability and perhaps the data validation of existing experiences, this might be going too far. So we didn't go too far with this, but it's just a doc that we're kind of playing around with. We also decided to kind of revise how we were doing, how you're designing our interactions. So we realized that. So basically, one of the main reason that we were building these interactions was to, one, gain data for the other domain, the other possibly niche domain that doesn't have a large population of users to actually gain data. But in order to do so, we'd have to ideally, if possible, translate the efforts of a domain with a mass population of some sort, which basically means that we need two factors. One, the interactions have to be enjoyable, so in the sense that we want these interactions to be low effort interactions, so that one, we don't create too much of a deviation from the original experience, but also create a drive of some sort for the users to actually go through the instructions that we're instructing the users to do, but also to gain some form of effectiveness in terms of data extraction from the data that the users are actually supplying through the instructions that we're actually giving them. So that's our research doc. That's for feedback.
Testing.
There's also that. There's also that other doc on interactions. It's a different doc, but so basically we thought that just thinking in terms of very high-level terms, interactions are basically consist of two main attributes, time and space. To be able to infer the location of any type of object, we either need to create a trend of some sort in terms of time or space. Time, for example, being prolonged time, so for example, having the user stay in a location for a prolonged amount of time, say 20 seconds. Or we can decrease the amount of time by, for example, having the user accelerating past the object if they have to deem it existing. Hence, from the data, if we see the sudden jump between one location to the other in a relatively short interval of time, we can also deem it as a possible location of where the object might exist. The location is the same. If we find the user existing in a certain location for a prolonged amount of time, then we can possibly infer that the user might have found the location, the object of interest. So we were trying to design interactions that were based around those three concepts. So we went through a testing phase at the end of Sprint 2 with 9 people.
Yeah. And so yeah, we ended up testing a more balance between enjoyability and data collection for Zenwalk and for Zombies Interactive. For Zenwalk, it was about increasing enjoyability, and we attempted to do that by making the interaction a little less restrictive. Rather than asking the user to circle a tree, we asked them to just like stand at a tree for a shorter period of time, like about two minutes. And for Zombies Interactive, we wanted to increase the quality of the data that we could get, and we tried to do that by providing more precise instructions to the user, such as like sprint to a fire hydrant and stay within like 3 feet of it. And so we tested on 9 people who were recruited from Hyung-soon's martial arts class. And so they were all like pretty fit people, and they were interested in exercise and interested in mindfulness. And our observations from those testings were that for Zenwalk, people found it kind of confusing to be focusing internally while also doing external acts, such as observing trees. Some people also weren't sure what the purpose of the meditative walk was, and they were kind of confused as to like why they were going around and like looking at trees. For Zombies Interactive, people expressed a desire to have more of a reward at the end because in the end they just found it kind of like it was an abrupt stop. We also found that runners didn't like stopping for a long time. One of the interactions asked them to like stop for 20 seconds at a fire hydrant. And the purpose of that was to be able to extract the fire hydrant's location. But we found that the runners felt that was like way too long to stop, and they didn't actually spend that much time there. And similarly for Zenwalk, people felt that they were staying at the trees for too long. So one common finding from this iteration of testing was that in general people felt too constrained by the interaction still. We also found that for Zenwalk, people found it hard to concentrate on like all the different audio instructions that were going on. And so one suggestion was that like, we might use sound cues in order to direct people's attention and reduce the mental stress of concentrating on all of the instructions by using sound cues to demark which instructions were important and the ones they should pay attention to. So based on that feedback, we decided to do another iteration for Sprint 3, but that's mostly what we worked on for the first half of this quarter.